Just us.
Just us.
After a brief weather-induced hiatus, we are back. So we were gone for a few games because it is a heat wave in San Francisco, and our apartment does not have air conditioning, and it boils in here.
Yeah, our priority has been not fainting.
Yes.
Over the past week.
Yes. That's why we also don't have lights today. It might look a bit different, maybe a little washed out, not great, because this is about as bearable as we can get it to record. If we had lights on to get our nice lighting, or okay lighting, we'd be boiling. We'd be sweating.
And if you're not watching us on video, switch over to YouTube. You can see us on camera. We've been doing a few of these video episodes over the past few weeks, and we think, it's going well, but we'd love your support. So watch us on YouTube.
Yeah. That aside,
let's go through the horrendous games we have been watching over the past week or so.
up front, the Warriors are awful.
They've slipped to the 10th seed. They're basically locked into the play-in at this juncture. But will they get the 9th seed, the 10th seed? We hope Steph will come back soon. He may come back next week, the first home game back from the road trip. So we're hopeful for that. But the Warriors stink without him.
Yeah, so as of recording today, we're recording on Sunday, he will have scrimmaged 5-on-5 in Atlanta, where we lost our last game yesterday. And he's expected to be reevaluated and potentially could play when they return to Chase Center to play the Nets. They're playing the Mavericks next, I think.
Yeah, the Mavericks will be the last road trip game on Monday tomorrow, and they'll come home, and hopefully it'll get better from there because it's been pretty awful.
Atrocious.
We can rewind back to the last home game, which was versus the Timberwolves. The Warriors lost that one, 127-117. Draymond was a late scratch to an already very undermanned team.
Yeah.
I think the cool thing was Kristaps started. The Warriors went with a double big lineup with Al and Kristaps in the starting lineup. But it wasn't enough against the Timberwolves who, with Anthony Edwards, he scored 42 points. It was his 10th 40-point game of the season.
It was a joke. It was...
Well, the Warriors just didn't have any semblance of command during the game.
And
it was close at the end. They cut it down to 7 in the fourth, but Anthony Edwards was unstoppable. There was just no answer for him.
Yeah, there's no answer for him because there's no player on the team that was capable of it. Porzingis played decently, Al Horford played decently, but right now we have players individually playing okay. And the team's been ravaged by injuries.
Yeah, and
primarily.
that game in particular, many players got injured. So we saw Seth go down, Al went down, Kristaps went down, QP also had an injury but came back in the second half. It was just riddled with injuries, which have followed the team over the past few games.
Yeah, this entire road trip has been multiple players injured every game. And the remaining players, you can look at them and go, they're not going to win.
Yeah, it's not going to
confidently, you can say this team's not capable of it. And there was a time where you could think, against all odds, this team has the energy and the spirit to fight and get there. No, each game was a kick in the butt, in the balls over and over again, and you could see the morale just dip repeatedly after each game, and they'll come into the next game more tired than the previous one. Lower emotionally, lower mentally, lower physically. And it's just been this slow, gradual slide down.
Exactly. And the next game was versus the Knicks. It was the first game on the road, and the Warriors were expected to lose by a lot.
Yeah.
But they only lost by 3 points.
Yeah, right at the end, they kind of picked it up.
The most notable thing for that game was there was $193 million of salary out for the Warriors in that game. They had 8 players sidelined by injuries, as you were mentioning.
Yeah.
It was the accumulation of this kind of mess of injuries.
Yeah.
Should I read them off real quick?
Go on.
Okay. Steph Curry, knee. Jimmy Butler, ACL. Kristaps, illness. At that point, I think it was just an illness. We didn't know what it was. Draymond Green, back. Al Horford, calf. D'Anthony Melton, knee. Moses Moody, wrist. And Seth Curry, adductor.
That's the entire team, basically.
You could build a whole body out of all of those injuries.
You could build a separate team, like an injured team from that team, from that injury list. It's crazy, but that was the last game where it felt like they were capable of at some point trying to fight back, or at least put up some resistance. That was the last time that they put
Yes.
up any resistance meaningfully.
It was so dire that the Warriors had to sign a 10-day contract with Yurtseven.
Yeah.
Yurtseven?
Turkish player, I believe.
Yeah.
Trained with Pat Spencer a while back. Has not through. I'm sure he's a good player,
But not for the Warriors.
just thrown into the Warriors. Just needed someone to fill a hole, and he has been not great. Like again, it's not his fault. I'm sure he's capable, but
He's a healthy body, and that's what
Yeah.
the Warriors need right now. The skill comes second right now. You just need someone that you can actually substitute into the game to play some minutes.
yeah, and both to actually abide by the NBA's rules, and also to give whoever is on the team that needs a break. They put in this guy who they know is not going to impact much, isn't going to score. Maybe he gets a layup here and there. Maybe he does a decent pass. More often than not, he has missed layups and turned the ball over. But
And he scored on the other team's basket as well.
yes,
Did he not?
one of his first things to do was accidentally score against himself, which that was when it was like, okay.
That's when we knew.
That was when I was like, okay, this is...
Okay, well, against the Knicks, Madison Square Garden, it's always an exciting game there. The Warriors had a really strong start to the game. They kind of stunned the Knicks in the first half. The Knicks were coming back from a 5-game road trip, so they were a bit lethargic.
Yeah.
But I think they realized in the second half, like, what are we doing? We can definitely beat this team. And that's what they showed. The Warriors were still going for the 50-50 balls. You could tell that they still had a little bit of hustle and energy, but they got outplayed by the Knicks late in the stretch.
Throughout this road trip, it seems like the main story has been, or the main consistency has been a decent first quarter for the Warriors. That is all they've been capable of, though. After that first quarter, it's without fail, that's where it goes.
And statistically speaking, we've heard this stat. If you win the first quarter, you have a 63% chance of winning. I don't think it applies to
I
the
think
Warriors.
that stat needs to be retired, and we have provided the best evidence
Yeah.
to retire that stat.
I think that's just copium.
It's copium.
Yeah.
It's 100% copium.
It's
They're
not gonna
huffing
work.
it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that, we went to, who was next?
Next was the Wizards. So that was another...
A tanking team. A team who is intentionally losing.
Yes, and they had 11 losses in a row, and we were really nervous that they would snap it against the Warriors. And thankfully, the Warriors won,
Yeah.
125 to 117.
Yeah.
But I feel like that should have been a blowout game.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't. And a blowout in terms of the Warriors really kicking their butts. The
Yeah.
Wizards are a really
They're awful.
bad
And
team.
again, they are trying to lose. They're doing their best to lose. And that should have been we should have just rolled over them with a massive point differential. But no, there was like points where we're like, we're going to lose to the Wizards. And thankfully we didn't.
We didn't. And I think the reason we didn't was, well, Trae Young had a fantastic game against us. It was our first time seeing him as a Wizard.
But-
He had 21 points in 21 minutes, but he ended up getting a right quad contusion
And left.
had to leave.
Yeah.
So
if Trey was still on the court, we were probably going to lose.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the one victory in this last stretch.
Yeah, and like you shouldn't have a clutch game against the Washington Wizards, and the Warriors did. So it was plus or minus 5 points within the last 5 minutes. I think Kristaps, that was the game where he really showed his value. He had 30 points in 26 minutes. It was also Steve Kerr's 600th career win as a coach. One of the fastest coaches getting to 600 wins. He got the game ball. I'm trying to find some highlights
I'm
here.
not a Steve Kerr hater, but I don't care. Like I don't really care right now. Like I know it's not his fault, and I like Steve Kerr. I think he's an incredibly good coach. He's achieved enough to not, if you're a reasonably adjusted person, so basically you're not hanging out in Warriors comments being like kill Steve Kerr and take Pajemski with you. If you're a reasonable person, you know that he is a good coach capable that is dealing with a rough time. But right now, I'm not in a mindset where I can look at something and be like, consolation prize. No, straight top to bottom, everyone sucks, everyone's responsible. There's no like upside to this as far
Right.
as I'm concerned. Doo-doo.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next game, I guess, versus the Celtics. The Warriors lost, predictably, 120 to 99. Jason Tatum was back from his Achilles injury. He was away for 300 days, I think. It was less than a year, which I think is remarkable.
Record time for a comeback, Brother Jalen was balling.
Yeah, brother Jalen did great.
Yeah,
Kristaps,
Ramadan Jalen was balling out. He was fasting and going ham. He had the power of Allah behind him.
Yeah.
You're not beating that.
Kristaps started, and as a reminder, Kristaps won a championship with and so did Al with the Celtics in 2024. They did a tribute video
It was nice.
for Kristaps.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. And like the actual audience was quite receptive to him, which is I was glad to see because when he got traded, I went into the Boston Celtics different like social corners, and they were like, "This guy's the worst. We hate him. He
Really?
sucks." Yeah, they did the same thing to Al Horford as well, because
no.
Al has moved around a couple of times and come back to the Celtics. But I was like, "Oh, they're gonna boo him," but no, they were respectful. Good for you.
Very interesting. The Celtics had a perfect first quarter, and we already knew that the Warriors were going to lose within that first quarter. Jalen took over. Jason Tatum had a great first half, and the Dubs were down 13 at the half, within striking distance. But I feel like the second halves of games have not gone in the Warriors' favor.
No.
It's their slow, lethargic shooting percentage goes down. I feel like they only have energy to execute 2 quarters worth of a game, and those second 2, it's just likely not going to go their way.
Yeah, that was a scheduled loss,
Yeah.
as all the other games have been.
And the Celtics are the best defensive team in the NBA. Remember when that used to be the Warriors?
They used to be the Warriors. Oh, the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days. Well, Jalen had 32 points, so yeah, definitely an L for the Dubs. Let's go on to the next game. The Pistons, who are the number 1 team in the East. The Warriors lost 115 to 101. Cade Cunningham didn't even play,
No.
right? Because Cade, recently it was announced that he has a collapsed lung
Yeah.
and will not be playing for a certain
while,
amount of
yeah.
time. Yeah, it's going to be some time before he comes back. The Warriors committed lots of early
Beef Stew
turnovers.
wasn't on the court either.
Who was?
Beef Stew, he wasn't
Yeah,
playing.
Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart was not there.
No.
The Warriors committed a lot of early turnovers, and that set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
There was a lot of poor decision making. They had the lead for most of the second quarter with LJ Cryer and D'Anthony Melton keeping the Warriors in the game. But it was a tough finish to the half. The Pistons ended up taking the lead heading into halftime. There were also injuries in this game. So, Guy looked like he got hurt, but Kristaps, I think, was the main one. He headed back to the locker room with a back issue.
And that is when it really, you could tell it's over.
Yeah.
Because he was the one person that was kind of putting up a defense against what was coming up, what they were bringing to him. But yeah, after that, it was like, okay, Kristaps is gone. There was no stopping them.
The Pistons ran away in the third quarter. The Warriors were outscored and out-hustled. The athleticism and speed of the Pistons took over. They're a very young team, very good. I really like them in the East. If I had to pick a team in the East, I do like them a lot.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Beef Stew, but...
Right. There were a lot of technicals in this game. So it got a little chippy. Coach Kerr.
Steve got one.
Yeah, GP2 got one on the Pistons side.
GP2 just got one for just chilling.
I don't even know what he did,
Yeah,
but he was, and usually he's, a happy-go-lucky type of player.
I'm sure he made a joke or something, or something got misinterpreted, or accidentally touched the ball, or when he should know, or something like that.
And then the Pistons, Asar Thompson, and then their coach, JB
Asar Thompson
Bickerstaff.
playing dirty again. Multiple times,
course.
diving at legs. Unacceptable.
Yes.
He could have injured D'Anthony Melton pretty badly, especially given that D'Anthony Melton just came back from an injury to do with his knee, legs, whatever, and then Asar Thompson just went at him, and I was like,
the Asar twins, or the Thompson twins are
incredibly
dirty players. Yeah.
Their defense is great, but they get a pass.
The way they defend
is just
illegal.
Illegal, yeah, a lot of times. Also, not even technically illegal. It's against the code of players. You don't dive at a player like that because you are risking injury. But they just don't seem to care, and everyone seems to just let it slide.
Yeah. Well, the Warriors committed 26 turnovers total, which was a season high. Based on that many turnovers, you're not winning nothing.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
No.
Well, let's go to last night's game versus the Atlanta Hawks. As a reminder, Kuminga got traded to the Hawks. The Warriors lost 126 to 110. The Warriors haven't won in Atlanta in 6 years. Isn't that weird?
That was
kind of
crazy.
Are they cursed in Atlanta?
I mean, the Warriors have every curse possible right now.
Yeah.
The
injury curse, the Atlanta
injury
curse,
Atlanta curse, turnover curse. And you name a curse and we've got it.
Yeah, exactly.
The best part of that game was when they came onto the court and Buddy saw his former teammates and literally jumped for joy and skipped over to see his former teammates and hugged them in a way that was he clearly had just missed his brothers. He was holding them and
it was the cutest thing
ever. It was so
ever.
cute. And I saw it and I was like, bring him back, man.
Yeah, bring Buddy Hield
even
back.
if he sucks, I know I've said he deserved to be traded. If he sucks, it is so clear the impact he has on the team.
From a team morale perspective, let's get Buddy Hield back.
Yeah,
We need his joy.
I think that you could offer him a vet minimum and he would take it because he loves playing with that crew enough that because he's a second unit on the Hawks and he played yesterday, I believe, and did not score very well.
No.
So like I'm sure if it was like you come back, second unit, you're a morale person, I think he would take it, especially if Jimmy's coming back.
Yeah, well, potentially. Well, speaking of players that were formerly on the Warriors, let's talk about Kuminga. He had 2 points, 1 of 9 shooting.
He's been playing inconsistently.
Same exact player as he was on the Warriors.
He's been playing as he's been playing. He was playing with the Warriors. Again, I want Kuminga to succeed. I want him to go find a place elsewhere. I think it's quite annoying how even Warriors fans are like, Steve Kerr ruined his career. It's like, no, man. I know you want to create this villain out of it. Kuminga also had a part to play in his career not doing well in Golden State. Like he as a player, he has responsibility to take as well. You can argue that he wasn't developed properly. Okay, we get it. That's fine. But also, he showed he could play within the system multiple times.
But it wasn't consistent.
And it wasn't consistent. And it was stopped being consistent when he decided, I no longer want to play the way the coaches are telling me or the team needs to me. I'm going to be the hero. He starts playing hero ball, and that's what he was doing yesterday. Taking mid-range shots that were like, why are you doing that, dude?
Well, it was his revenge game.
Yeah. And he...
Great. 2-point revenge game.
They won, but like, your contribution was little to nothing. Again, I want to see him succeed. I think he's a great player when he wants to be. I think he's explosive. I think he's got a lot of force that he can put into it. And I just think that he needs an attitude shift. And he still hasn't realized that it's a team game.
Right.
I think he realizes it's a team game enough to earn confidence from people and trust. And then once he has that, he will return to I am new Michael Jordan mode and screw it all up.
I think he can be the star of a team, but for example, the Hawks yesterday, they have Dyson Daniels, who scored season high, I think it was 28 points. They already kind of have their stars. They have a lot of young guys. Now Kuminga needs to fit into that kind of system, and I just don't know if he is a fit into a system type of guy.
No. He's gone into a system where he didn't play because there was a lot of veterans who had more experience, and the team was pushing to try and get a championship at a time when he was trying to be developed again, to another team where there's a lot of young players that look and on paper are better than him. So he hasn't improved his situation. He's just gone from a team where he was being DMP'd to a team where he's getting played, but still being outshone by other players. I hope, again, that he finds his place with that team. I wouldn't be surprised if soon he moves on to another team. Apparently, he's like there's rumors that he's going to decline his player option and sign up for a long-term deal with the Hawks, which would be interesting, but I don't know, man. It's just, I'm glad I think now the Kuminga story is over.
The saga's over. I think this is the last time we're going to talk about him.
This was the one thing that would have extended it. And also, the trade returns, him and Porzingis basically have the exact same stats.
Yeah.
They have played the same amount of games, they've been injured for the same amount of time, and their average is 0.1 away from each other. So it's like, it's over. Just leave it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Well,
the Warriors, again, have gone 2-8 in the last 10 games. Not a great showing. We need Steph back. Happy belated birthday to Steph Curry. March 14th, we baked a pie in his honor on Pie Day.
Pie Day. It was good.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. We hope that he comes back healthy and strong and can make some buckets. Yeah,
so where we are now is we're in the play-in.
Yep.
The thinking, the reporting, and the constant refrain from the Warriors and Steph is coming back to play. He doesn't want to come back to tank. He doesn't want to be taken out for the season. He wants to play. Whether he wants to play because he thinks that he can push the team back into contention seems unlikely. I think he just wants to come back and show that they can play as a team to kind of lift morale a bit so that in the offseason they don't feel like this is a team that is just needs to be completely blown up. Because I don't think it is. I think that the stars are there. They have all the pieces. It's just they've been incredibly unlucky this season. I mean, like we said, it was over the moment Jimmy injured himself. That is where it all started to deconstruct. And then every injury since then has made it worse. But we'll see what he does when he comes back. Maybe they make it. If they can make it out of the play-in into the playoffs, that's probably good enough for now. sit back until the next season.
The only concern here is right now at the 10th seed, if they are able to claw their way out of the play-in, they would be the 8th seed.
Okay,
And they would be going against the number 1 team in the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, where they
I
will
don't
get-
think the Warriors are coming out of that playoff series. So that's why I'd like
Unless
Yeah.
Steph comes in and is like, I'm gonna put this team on my back again, like I
Right.
did many years ago, and just will us to it. Even then, like when he did that, he had, I think, better supporting pieces than he does now. But having said that, Al Horford, Kristaps, Melton,
Guy
LJ
Santos.
Cryer, Guy Santos, like, I think they have something to get a few games into the playoffs. At best, they can maybe get like 1 or 2 games off OKC. I would call that a victory.
Yeah.
I would call that a win, not victory.
as long as everyone stays healthy.
Yeah, that's the issue. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Giannis update. Apparently, they tried to shut him down, and he was like, "Oh hell no!" And now they are more convinced than ever that he's going to get traded this offseason. So maybe the Giannis story continues.
We'll see. All right. Well, until next time, thanks for tuning in. Just Us on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Just us.